in for taking away Molzo.
I also expect V5 to just go straight for the Ashe with the fact that, you know, they're banning the FLICR, so saying, hey, we don't want to go for this pick. But actually, Weiwei's Graves is open, and I missed that.
That Prio, I mean, he's still got like a 75% win rate, 7 games played.
V5 still have 2 options for AD carry. I mean, 3 if we count Ezreal, but V5 have definitely been a team that like to play more of like the Ashe Kalista style AD carries. I guess even another one if we factor in they just play Jhin, and they're obviously willing to play that as well.
Let's go, second Jhin game. But you see what LNG take away as we're talking away. The Volley Bear here for XX or Shenlong.
Yep, and Shenlong has played the Volley Bear before. We haven't exactly seen it out from XX. And yeah, here's the Jhin. The win rate is not exactly 0% anymore.
Now it's 50% actually.
Oh, it's also
that was the second game.
Yep. So there we go. And once again, a very strong laning bot lane in Jhin Thresh. You have a lot of kill pressure. There we go. That's the word. If you land those death sentences, but this Tahm Kench should actually be a decent pick into it, right? If Light does get death sentence, you just devour him, you walk away from the lane fine, and you still have good kill pressure level 6. And the thing that's always interesting about this bot lane to me is the double global aspect, right? You can throw out the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, you can also, both of you just follow up to gank mid lane with Abyssal Voyage. You know what play I missed from, I think it was like Season 7, Season 8, was when Tahm Kench would recall at level 6, like if you'd play on bot lane, and you and your AD carry would ult top and find a pick that way.
Oh yeah, and his ult range was so much longer back then as well,
Yes,
right?
it was. Those were good times of Tahm Kench. Those were like aggressive Tahm Kench days as compared to now where you really see very defensive Tahm Kench play. But I guess it makes sense because like you said, he has gotten nerfed a lot over the past few years. But so on the side, for both drafts so far on the side of LNG, with the fact that they do have those 2 globals to play on, it is setting up for this more global pick composition. And for the side of Victory 5, right, early skirmishing once again. You have the Jhin, you have a Graves, so Victory 5 still have ways where they can turn this comp pretty much into anything they want.
But talking about the bans quickly before we get into those final picks of the comp, we've got the Kayle ban again, but key here is that Mole will not get his Fiddlesticks. An interesting change of ban.
I guess it is interesting for the fact that since they have Graves, you could just have some mid laner that's more about, you know, securing Prio, playing more for the team, which Fiddlesticks obviously does because he's a tank. And now Maple.
Oh, okay.
So clearly respecting a lot of most champions. Don't want to give him the Zoe, don't want to give him the Fiddle, now taking away the LeBlanc. So now LNG really are just going with the straight up pick composition. And now Victory 5 do have a lot of options. So gonna go with the style we just talked about. You're gonna play more for your jungle, just look to push out mid, always follow up with Weiwei with that global. And this goes back to what Maple was saying, right? The fact that Victory 5 like to play around Weiwei.
I'm gonna pause though.
We're not getting an Alawi hysterics.
Dude, I thought it was Ixu.
I know you are an Alawi aficionado yourself.
I mean, I say that about a lot of champions. I'm glad you said it for me. Get the Renekton instead. View, as I said, favorite. It's
his favorite. It's a safe blind pick. It can play strong with jungle help. It can, you know, do fine on weak side playing on its own. And Shenlong, I think it's fine here. Just go back to that Jace. Makes these aggressive plays that we were just talking about, right? With Iwandi influencing the top side of the map, maybe Maple able to find ways to get up here as well, because we do expect him to be able to bully out Mole in the early laning phase.
But I was going to ask you for V5's comp, does this fit into your defensive style of Galio, or does Renekton Thresh kind of, and Graves, I guess?
This is going to want to play aggressive, right?
Yep.
You're pretty much going to have Galio just trying to clear out waves while Weiwei can go look to influence in the enemy jungle, and especially bot lane, because we do have a lot of hard CC down there once again. So no, this is not the typical protect the AD carry Galio, which for you typical LPL viewers know we've been seeing a lot of lately.
Teams like not like it?
Not a big fan. And it doesn't win, right? We haven't really seen it work all too often.
Also, especially since you can just walk back and then the rest of the fight's going to take it. So.
And another cool thing about the Galio this game is since we set up that, hey, LNG do have globals to play around, now with the Galio you have a way to answer these plays. And just another reason he's good against LeBlanc as well, because, you know, if Maple can find those big roam windows, Mole will always be able to answer.
I'm just curious because the draft has changed a little bit again here. V5 got away with the Jhin in game 1, or I shouldn't say got away. It facilitated the composition a lot more than it feels like this one will. It feels like it's a different role. Am I correct in saying that?
Yeah, it is definitely different, right? Because that composition kited out and then use that Jhin ultimate as a pseudo re-engage. You get the slows down so Mole can find his way to get those picks. This one is definitely not like that. You're not really going to be kiting out LNG's composition. You are the ones who want to be running forward.
Maybe we get more of the fast. Let's go.
This one's going to be interesting because now it's going to be on us seeing if Maple can put a lot of pressure onto Sam D on that Jhin.
Okay, we got a dancing volley better start off game 2. And we're going to roll into it as new picks have been coming across. This is the 3rd game in the LPL of the Jhin. Sam D and PP God played out their lane decently enough, but it was more as we got towards those picks in the mid game. The ball started rolling in game 1. V5 took control and shut out LNG. If you want a quick score check on LNG, right now, sitting at the bottom of the barrel, 2-6. As Lyric said at the start of broadcast, 1-11. One individual game picked up against Vici Gaming.
They are, 5-14 now overall with their 2 series wins. So,
but recency hurts.
And but this one's definitely going to be interesting to see. I actually like what LNG have put together. I like the use of their globals with the Abyssal Voyage and the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. They have a lot of good burst damage coming out as well. So, again, if they can get Sam D or Weiwei bursted out in a fight early, it's going to be really nice to see. And I feel like XX is going to be extremely crucial on this Volibear pick as well.
I was going to ask you, in terms of the matchup, are we any closer to kind of understanding that Graves versus Volley, which is a matchup we've actually seen a little bit more of now?
With Phase Rush, I would assume Graves has a fine time just kiting him out, right? Even if Volibear gets on top of you with his Q stun, you just throw down your W, and then you should be able to proc Phase Rush and just get out of there.
Okay.
But in a straight-up 1v1 early on, I would definitely favor the Volibear if he gets on top of the Graves. He's also running Press the Attack, so he does have a damage rune.
Starting bottom side here on Singular Camps was the blue buff start, while red here for the Graves. While bottom side, PP God at half health. Tom Kent's level 1, pretty devastating to flash Tongue Lash. And PP God has to flash away himself. One more auto needed. And it's first blood over to Light.
And this is something we don't see all too often from LNG's bot lane, is 2v2 kills in lane. And I like that you point out that Tom Kench actually is a pretty strong laning champion. Like, he's not bad, especially up against other melee supports. And I want him doing incredibly well.
Sam D even getting pushed back to half health. Light getting first blood as well. And when we talk about the global pressure that this bottom lane can provide, even without jungle attention getting ahead, is a good start for LNG in game 2.
Yeah, it's going to be nice, and great use of Hawkshot, spotting out Weiwei. So they know his complete clear now, and XX will be able to adjust accordingly.
Alright, well, now I'm curious, as Chenlun is going to trade into Bubu quite nicely, but curious how this affects junglers, because first blood down the bottom side, Light with an early longsword for a bit of extra damage. And Sam D and PP God in the back foot here in this lane.
So we're in a similar position where Weiwei has a lot of options with what lanes he can play around. Obviously, Galio and Graves is a very strong 2v2 because you have the taunt coming out from Galio to set up all of Graves' damage.
XX coming topside though, let's pause because Bubu might have to burn a flash to slice and dice.
Ooh.
Out. That was nice. Dodges away from the Sky Splitter, but Weiwei's coming up to converge onto XX. Smoke screen down, end of the line. Look at the damage here from Weiwei. His favorite champion pushes out Volley again.
Yeah, I was actually going to get to topside next. Once again, V5 have a very nice topside 2v2 as well. Renekton has a ton of burst, has a ton of AoE damage. You have the stun coming out once again, setting up for all of this Graves damage. And that flash E by Bubu was so clean.
Slick, yeah. Felt really nice. Burns a flash, but able to stay in lane is a key thing. With XX going back to his jungle, Weiwei adding pressure across the map. Now just walks through mid on the way to bot side.
And it feels like on the side of LNG, you're going to have to play around a very similar style that V5 did last game, to where, right, we said Volibear isn't necessarily a ganking jungler, especially early on. It's a lot more about duels at that level 6 mark, setting up dives. So it's going to be about trying to play around your winning lanes in isolation, so the Jace, the LeBlanc, and looking for neutral advantages and wins against Weiwei.
But at the very least now, I mean, Weiwei's going to find himself a lead, so maybe that changes because double scuttle here for the jungler of V5 and is able to go back to clearing, and a nice bit of tempo shift here for Weiwei in the early game after that flash was burnt top.
Also, just Bubu doing a great job of zoning out Shenlun. Of course, Bubu did already get a back, so he does have that cloth armor. Oh, just nice job. Also denying the back now. But Shenlun does have TP, so obviously going to get back to lane, be able to catch all these minions in XP.
I miss Tom Kench. I got to say, one of the most...
You
talk
miss
about
Tom Kench.
Now, hang on. Let me explain.
We have the whole West complaining about Tom Kench.
You like the auto attack animation of Malphite and Maokai from memory, right?
Yep.
I love the auto attack animation from Tom Kench. It feels so good.
It is amazing,
It
especially
is
when
so
you run like Titanic Hydra or something.
Yeah. If Earth comes up or
Grasp
something.
would be a dying top lane Tom Kench. God, it's so dirty in solo queue, but it's so nice.
When you get licked by that monster, man, it feels just as dirty, right?
Oh, please don't go down that route. This is an official broadcast, hysterics.
I will say, just the crit animation of the auto attack, that's the best. That's the absolute best.
We see LNG looking for a 3-man gank on mid.
Mole with the early shield of Duran, chains up, but he can't just punch away. Way in with the smoke screen. Early flash burn, but Mole will go down here with no trade.
That was actually great to see, too. We talked about how LNG don't actually have really good setup for the volley bear, but that was just really clean from Maple. Just W's in, throws down the chain, blocks his path to E out. And not only XX, but Iwandi here as well, just in case any shenanigans go down. And this is going to turn into that neutral that we talked about for the side of LNG.
Game 2 for LNG kind of revitalized. A LeBlanc fed once again in this series. Well, shouldn't I say fed? Has a kill. So momentum to Maple. This is his chance to shine.
Man, V5 are actually posturing like they want to contest this.
Well, we're going to go topside. Burker's dominance on top of Chenlun. We've seen this before with the Shy. It's going to be taken away by LNG, but the fight with Shielded Duran not looking good for LNG versus the Dragon. They lose 2. Topside ends, and that gives gold to V5.
So it's very similar to game 1, right? V5 posturing for the objective, using that as a way to set up a good position to find kills onto LNG.
I want to see who got the kills. Oh. It's Mole again, but okay, Mole's on Galio, but Sam D again already had the swiftness. So.
And I actually feel like this could be really critical for the side of LNG because we were saying how they have to play around the fact that they have winning lanes, with the Jace, with the LeBlanc, and use those priorities to, get in set positions first and enable Volibear, who is a strong dueling jungler. And if those start flipping around now that Sam D and Mole have kills, they're not going to have any avenues to play through.
We'll see how it happened because LNG looks comfortable until this bottom lane came in.
I assume this was how it happened, right? We already saw before the switch to top, PB got just walking forward. It's like, hey, Mole has ultimate, so can very easily just come in if LNG choose to commit to the Dragon. They do, and, that's how it shakes up.
And now we're going to BF Sword on Sam D. Level 6 with Curtain Call enabled versus the Berserker Greaves is the early first blood for Light. We should be able to push out this wave and get something similar.
Oh, I want to see if
again
LNG predict the swap for topside, and if they decide just to funnel plates onto Light or they go contest. I would expect them to go contest because we said, hey, we want their draft to be winning. It needs to be ahead. You can't give up these sort of advantages to V5. Ash not like putting all that gold into Ash doesn't really feel like it'll do much for LNG's chance of winning the game as compared to if they also give over this Herald to V5.
And when you have big ultimates up like Enchanted Solaro, Stormbringer as well, Abyssal Voyage almost there when he hits 6. It's going to be a good timing considering that Mole doesn't have the hero's entrance. The Rift Herald spawns, everyone posturing. Bubu's bottom side without a TP, so they will not have this Renekton.
Exactly. So V5 this time definitely are going to take this slow. Bubu is going to start heading over right now. And they're just going to get vision set up. While now, hey, guess what? Chenlun is losing gold, is losing EXP. I guess it's not even Chenlun. It's actually Light who's losing out because Chenlun's in the top side collecting the waves.
Well, V5 is still posturing here. Iwandi only level 5. First hit of the set Curtain Call as the poke here from Chenlun. While in the pit, Mole doesn't get XX, but he's out with the Stormbringer in the back line. Dark Passage to keep Weiwei safe. They're onto Light. Iwandi doesn't get locked down, but Bubu in for the flank without the rest of the team. He burns down yet again, but LNG have low health bars, and Weiwei only goes forward as Iwandi, the grey health, will not save him. Once again, Weiwei's Graves is in the way for LNG as Maple over the wall just for a bit of poke, but Chenlun will not be able to change the fate.
And Bubu once again with the big 5-head bait coming in, making all the members turn to him, giving Weiwei, I guess it didn't really give Weiwei an opportunity to flash forward. Weiwei just flashed forward regardless. But again, V5 able to find the kills, and no one on LNG, I'm sorry, is very tanky as of now. So a lot of strong AoE damage coming out from the side of V5. You already pointed out how Sam D has the BF sword as compared to Light just having the Vampiric Scepter.
But do you remember the last time we saw Weiwei fed, which was FPX Game 1, where he found early advantage and he snowballed the hell out of that game? This has set him up for success once again.
This fight already starting really awkwardly. XX has to burn ultimate. Devour gets burnt right away because Light, for some reason, walked into the Rift Herald pit, so there's already a disconnect, right? Light walked in as XX jumped out. And that pretty much just set up these following events to where V5 were able to pick up some kills.
And then Mole has to stand back and go, all right, well, I'm 2-0, but it doesn't matter because the fight's already over.
Weiwei is 2-0.
Yes, he is. And Ripjaw top for Sam D and Weiwei. The 280 carries are going to be absolutely humongous.
Oh, and a really interesting adaptation by V5 because they're already sending PBGod bot to cover this dive.
Okay. How soon will he get here?
Just
XX
flash.
starts the engage. There's no dominance. The Dark Passage. Out he goes. LNG takes some turret damage while inner turret going to be trekked top.
And Mole is hovering for bot too. So once again, seeing these small adaptations from V5 is just so fun.
What makes them like a big team on our mind?
Mole
Above
uses
everything
the
we've
ultimate.
seen is Hero's entrance is there. Onto XX, narrowly avoids it. And PPGod narrowly avoids the hook as well. LNG are committing to 4 bot, but BuBu has dominance up again.
Yeah, so they shouldn't be able to do anything. They definitely aren't going to be able to dive. They've already used so many tools, right? Enchanted Crystal Arrow was already burnt. XX still not having that ultimate up himself. And V5 pick up 2 turrets for nothing.
They're ahead by 2,700 gold. We're doing this again. An early game where V5 just managed to eke it out ahead.
Oh, God. Just, hysterics. It's those small things. It's those small things that make League of Legends exciting. Instead of having PBGod stay like a lot of teams would do, having him recall, go set up, save BuBu in the end, having Mole hover over. We talked about having that ultimate to, you know, match a lot of the global tools from LNG.
That's right. I mean, you had XX who couldn't even ult in that situation because versus 3, he had to get out. The secondary dive doesn't work out. And now we've got another Dragon in front of the bottom side. LNG coming back down after their resets. But V5 got so much turret gold on the top side. There's now a Storm Razor. There's a Proto-Belt on Mole, excuse me. And Weiwei has a Phage almost towards the Black Cleaver.
Yeah, so Sam D going to be dealing a ton of damage already to where Light only sitting on that Cutlass is going to be pretty tough. Also, not having that Enchanted Crystal Arrow yet is going to be pretty rough for the side of LNG, but good damage coming out from Maple.
Yep, as LNG starts the Dragon. That could be crucial.
They have
Finds off
curtain
the
call,
Eddie
though.
carry. But he's still scared of that mid laner as into the pit. It's stolen by Weiwei and Mole in with the flank again. V5 have fought here so many times in their career in summer, and they win yet another with the backline pick onto the Ashe. It's a massacre in V5's favor.
That 3-man taunt was absolutely beautiful, but even going back further, the steal coming out from Weiwei was so crucial. V5 didn't even have the Galio ultimate in that fight, so just great execution coming out from them without even all their necessary tools available.
How many times have we seen V5 fight in that choke towards River as Maple has to flash away? Mole just comes in unexpectedly, and another small win on the side of V5.
You know, this game does show us, though, why so many teams ban away Weiwei's Graves.
Yes.
Weiwei looks so good on the Graves, goes in, just secures the steal. Mole using that photo to go forward. Great W coming out from him. Yeah, the play as well. Just so amazing coming out from PPGod. And then Sam D just in the back supporting with the curtain call. Oh, and we get to see pro view of it as well. So goes in with the Proto Belt. Doesn't exactly hit the E, lands the W. Nice Winds of War coming out as well. Hits a strong passive. And, you know, all the AoE coming out from V5's comp just leads to the win.
I can't remember what team they versed, but in the exact same choke, a 4-man taunt. Mole, as well as the Zoe, his Galio has proven why it deserves the respect. And Mole this game 1-1-6, a more supportive role. Sam D on 2 kills yet again, and more importantly, Weiwei with his Black Cleaver now.
I just love that we're getting these proactive 80 carries back in the meta.
Yeah.
We have Ashe now. Ashe obviously super strong. Has a really good win right here in the LPL. Now us starting to see the glimpses of Jhin and how its ultimate can do so much work around the map. And again, just set up for more of a supporting role for its team, especially when you have this meta where we do have big damage threats in the jungle like Graves.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, also, I'm pretty sure people are getting sick of bottom lane just doing nothing, right?
Yes. I mean, I remember in spring where...
Hang on, PPGod has the Dark Passage. He brings over Weiwei, and XX has to flush away. The rest of LNG are here as Light has the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, but doesn't want to throw it out just yet. Volley to slow down LNG, not committing, because you can see Maple's going top instead.
Yeah, so good job from PPGod to be able to force some summoners out from XX, and instead they're just going to hover over, make sure that no one can rotate for the turret mid, and they're just going to be able to try to secure this one with Sam D dealing damage. And BuBu is here as well.
As the rest of LNG can't really get anywhere near this turret. Okay, there it goes. Damage onto Weiwei, but doesn't matter. More gold in the back pocket. That gold lead almost at 6,000 at 15 minutes.
Shenlun can't even push the turret top because now all the members of V5 are freed up, right? They could easily rotate and collapse, so he has to back off. Looks like he's going to go pick up those Krugs. Actually, just going to go for a recall.
Is it fair to talk about Jace in this context and say this is the problem with Jace? That it doesn't add too much to LNG? Or what do you think?
The thing is, I'm actually kind of fine with Jace when he's run into these sort of poke compositions, especially because poke compositions really do need the tempo to be on an objective, be able to lay down their poke. Sure. They're very fragile, so they need vision set up. But when we see Jace just kind of picked for, it seems like his strong laning phase, not too big of a fan, but we actually do have a lot of comps like that here in the LPL. Heck, V5 ran a kind of play around winning lanes composition, enabled jungle last game, and it worked. So hard to criticize.
Of course.
But personally, not a huge fan.
Okay. I'm curious. There's the poke in action, so defends your point as Mole ready for the taunt. The Enchanted Cross Arrow missed, by the way, as Ricktold is secured. The turnaround onto XX. The Deadly Flourish misses, but now it's curtain call time as Maple has to get out of dodge. The rest of V5 already have the objective. They don't need a kill on the backside. LNG won't have the right inner track to mid.
Yeah, so they're going to be able to get some pressure down. SamD on that fourth shot, though. PP God should have all his cooldowns up, so if they can land a hook onto Light.
PP God misses, though. Light sticks around. Very aggressive. Maple going forward as Weiwei now in with the flank. Collateral damage out as this is Mole coming through. And playing with their food, but also not landing everything.
You know, I'm like getting scared and surprised with the confidence from Light, but actually there's a Tom Catcher next to him.
Yep.
I don't know why my heart's beating faster. He'll be fine. But nice to see him step forward so aggressively and be willing to put down that DPS, realizing, hey, we need to find an advantage somewhere. Someone needs to be willing to carry and try to take up that role because they're 5,500 gold behind, and they're going to need some sort of miracle play at this point.
And it's good because it speaks to Light as a player. Light is the Aphelios carry, but more importantly, Light's the person who's come in after seeing Asura on this roster with Dwan and has actually played decent despite the team's performance.
Let's be honest. None of us had any hope for Light.
Nope.
Like we didn't necessarily think it was bad, but we thought, okay, well, they're just swapping Asura for Light. Nothing's going to come of it. He's played pretty well on this roster this split.
Someone needs to at this point because LNG losing everything. Bottom side turret included. TP down. Maple willing to match for the Cloud Dragon. As Dragon number 3 is Mole has not been spotted out until then.
But Hysterics, no ultimate up for SamD, no ultimate up for Mole. Even Weiwei not having his up quite yet.
Will be spotted out on the bottom side. Dragon does go over as Mole prepares the shield of Duran. PP God misses the death sentence. Light aggressive again. Chanacross Arrow nailed through the goalpost. As SamD is at half health, so positioning back as Weiwei goes in. Collateral damage doesn't work, but shield of Duran misses again. This time V5 have to pick a target. Iwandi walking away. Mole out with a distortion. Dragon and leave for LNG.
I mean, without those key cooldowns up, I didn't see a way that V5 would be able to pick up any kills.
Maple onto SamD, the electrocute, the tick over from Corrupting Potion. He has to flash away and almost found SamD. That was a noble attempt.
It was just showing off all the damage that comes out from LeBlanc. And at the end of the day, they did get the Dragon. Had that Enchanted Crystal Arrow hit, I feel like they would have been able to pick up some kills. It would have been very easy for them to collapse as 5 against the 3 with Mole and I think it was Weiwei behind them. So they were in good position to win out, but sadly they do miss that skill shot.
It is good though, at least this far down, LNG still knowing they need to push the tempo of anything they can hit. And more importantly, ult timings calculated well, so they can find those windows that could bring them back into this game too. Very positive today, aren't I?
Yes, you are.
It's a new me. You know?
I've gotten called negative quite a bit, but at the same time, I feel like if there's anyone who is a connoisseur of bottom-tier LPL teams, it's me.
Yeah.
Every week, I'm excited to watch Rogue Warriors and DMO. It's probably, heck, we have that matchup this week, and I'm super excited for it.
You on the...
I do agree with Munchables, though. I am the disappointed dad of the LPL.
You are. What am I then? Because I think I'm a bit negative. Not as much as you.
You are... I have no idea.
The sad brother. You know, I've come home, you haven't done your homework, and I'm like, well, parents are going to be upset, but you know what, bro? I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed.
I was going to say the naggy mom, but...
Oh, I can be the mom.
But we can't be married, so...
Hey, well, says who?
Oh, hysterics. You guys claimed Steve Irwin, so...
What, so that's why we're not getting married?
Yep.
All right, fair enough. I mean, Steve Irwin is Australian, so why wouldn't I claim him?
Hey.
He's an iconic hero. I cried when Steve Irwin passed away.
I think a lot of us cried. I think a lot of us still cry.
every day. Well, V5 will be crying if they can't end out this game, because at this point, 20 minutes in, still have full control. And you can see they just moved to bottom side. Add the pressure, get the turret, move away.
Sterix, they are up 7,500 gold. Actually, just 7,000 gold.
Oh, Chenicrosaro, those MD caught on out. Cleanses away. Ulti doesn't land from XX, so PP God gets a hook, narrowly eaten up. I don't know how he fits in that mouth while Bew takes care of Chen-Lun, but the curtain call onto the Tahm Kench. The final shot nails him in the back, and V5 still managed to get a pick. Maple wants some retribution, but they're not going to let him.
Still, once again, V5 aren't able to actually secure a lot of follow-up kills just for the fact that they don't have the guaranteed hard CC. But still, they pick up one. That was great. The Enchanted Crystal Arrow was sick coming out from Light.
Yeah.
It looked like maybe they'd be able to find something, but, you know, at the end of the day, V5 still are so far ahead.
Yeah, if they weren't, then that fight could have been a lot more close. Could have been a lot more in LNG's favor. And the next problem is that Weiwei keeps roaming around everywhere. Maple spots him out.
I mean, you have full map control. All of your lanes are winning. I feel like roaming around everywhere is not the toughest thing in the world, but, you know, it is nice to see them do it.
Good. There we go. Positivity. 50 CS up in the jungle as well. And this is just like game one, where Weiwei has been the more consistent jungler, the more, I guess, farm-intensive jungler who's found himself ahead.
I mean, just these last two games, like even last week against V5 played E-Star,
yep,
we just saw them continuously coming out ahead in skirmishes, right? That's where they find all their advantages. So it's been interesting to see them switch from this team that were kind of finding them through Weiwei winning in these individual skirmishes to this, but I guess this series it's been hard for him to do that when we have seen him not having the easiest time just go invade the enemy jungle and duel out XX. I mean, this game, you know, both of his soul lanes getting pushed in, and he's up against the volley bears. We talked about having that press the attack, so at least very early on would have had a better time. And, you know, the Colonel actually still has some hope for LNG.
Okay. I like that positivity as well. Robo Colonel saying 30% means that he's hoping that LNG find more picks with that arrow that we've seen so far. Light in a team fight is going to be the next biggest question, because he's still on that one item. 1.5 really.
Let's remember,
2.5.
Chen-Lun also going to deal a lot of damage if he can hit that shock wave?
Shock blast.
Shock blast.
Accelerated shock blast.
Yeah, if he can hit that shock blast onto Sam B.
As this is a flash from PP God in the making, even underneath turret, but not committing fully as XX was nearby.
You know, Munchables, if you're listening, I blame you for that because you called it a shock wave yesterday.
Oh, did he?
On accident. He corrected himself right away,
so
he's better than I am.
LPL casters, am I right? Well,
just kidding, Munchables, I love you.
Cloud Dragon going to go down in the meantime. Maple doing what he can. He found an early lead and hasn't been able to get any more kills or continue that snowball. The rest of V5 are forcing mid, though, by themselves as a good dodge away, thanks to Iwandi. But XX can just pull back with the rest of the team. V5 pick up more turret gold. There is a Baron there to threaten. There is, I guess, other turrets on the map, top side and bottom. But all inhibitor turrets actually across the map.
I mean, at the same time, right, we look at V5's composition, it is very, like, close range, so it is a comp that you don't expect to see it sieging in front of turrets. They are going to need to rely on forcing LNG into positions where they have to fight for these neutral objectives and come out ahead in kills to close out this game. Which, I mean, you're still 2 dragons away from the soul, so even if LNG decide just not to fight you for one, you're still in a fine position as LNG. Feels like maybe we'll have to see some sort of Baron bait to really unlock this game.
Just on the soul as well, a Cloud for Jin is actually really good just because curtain call, and then you finish your curtain call, that's when you get the 6 seconds of move speed. So that's kind of a fun interaction. Remember, they changed it so that ultimates it's more, what's the word?
Cerebral?
I guess.
Smart?
It's smarter. Yeah, let's do that.
There we go.
It's smarter so that champions who have ultimates that pin them down or have a channel get it after the channel, which is, yeah, I don't know. My English today is not the greatest. But third item almost completed here. And at this point, folks, we're kind of waiting for this next big fight where V5, if they get that pick, should be able to just go to one of these objectives.
Yep.
And slowly close out this game.
So it looks like they're going to play through their pushing wave top and try to get vision in the enemy jungle.
And might actually be the pick. Force the flash. Nice from LNG. That was a small window.
I mean, this is what you're going to have to rely on, right? We already talked about all the damage coming out from Chen-Lun. the Jace plus LeBlanc combo will burst any squishy outright.
But Maple has to dodge away from the hook and does so. PP God as well from the shock blast. LNG get river control.
And it is kind of interesting to see the fact that, you know, it's not really much of a poke comp, but the fact that V5 don't have any, like, set hard engage, reliable hard engage, there we go, that's the word. Jace can just keep throwing out these EQs. Mabel can keep popping his head into the fight and dealing damage, and you can play it as this, you know, poking, kiting composition. You're also going to have pressure insides from LeBlanc and Jace, so we do have areas where LNG can maneuver, which is why the Colonel gives him such a decent chance to take this game back.
Colonel's been studying some League of Legends in the past week as V5 actually going to start this Baron after clearing out the ward. Mole is on patrol. While XX and Light position up. This avoid's used to get near the pit.
Yeah, right now we're going to see Mole actually try to find a flank. Oh, God.
PP God onto Light. The 80 carries alone. Flashes away from the deadly flourish. Mole almost gets a pick on the back line as well. LNG back away, but V5 can do this again.
I mean, and that's what they need to do, right? You need to rinse and repeat because realistically, this is the best way you have of forcing LNG out of their base and not just funneling more items onto their carries.
LNG will get a quick check on the back of the pit, though. And reset comes through from V5 instead, because there's an Infinity Edge 3-item Jhin on the Rift. Plus, we've got a Death Stance on Weiwei, who was already so far ahead. 3-item Graves is going to be pretty good at 26 minutes.
And I like the Death Stance buy here as well because, you know, a lot of LNG's damage is just straight up burst, so getting more defensive stats on the Graves is going to be really nice. If the Jace LeBlanc combo can't burst you out, you are going to have a lot of sustained damage in these fights coming out from that Graves.
You know what I like? I like XX Randuin's Omen as his first item outside of his jungle item. Pretty annoying if the Jhin hits him, but more importantly, Weiwei's chase is going to be reduced.
Yeah.
Plus 15% less for critical strikes.
Hysterics with the in-depth knowledge today.
I
like it.
played tanks because I'm not good at the game. That doesn't mean that tank players aren't good at the game. It's just an easy out.
It is kind of what you insinuated, but...
But I will say, anyone who's low elo,
hey, a lot of tanks are just
play
fun.
tanks.
Play Fiddlesticks.
Dude, Ornn. Ornn is the most fun champion in the game because you're an assassin at the same time.
So, okay, we see V5 just setting up some vision. They got the wave pushing topside. Ooh, actually they're looking for a flank.
Sneaky, sneaky. XX could walk into this. Sky Splitter there. Now spots out
see him.
Weiwei and Mole. This is a collapse onto 4 of LNG. The flash shield of Duran will get Iwandi and eventually XX. Into the backline goes Bubu as well. And the poke behind them as Sam D is the one dishing it out. Walks on forward, has the crit, and Iwandi only just escapes. V5 got their pick to start encouraging into the base.
But seeing Sam D and Bubu flash forward, just so nice to see. Sam D with so much confidence to secure the kill on the Light, which is one of the more critical members for the side of LNG. It's probably just going to lead to V5 being able to pick up this Cloud Drake.
I mean, 23 seconds, sorry, on Light coming up onto Summoner's Rift, and that'll lead to Cloud Soul here for V5. A 9k gold lead still exists. Sorry, 8,000, if I could do math properly. But it seems like they are just going to reset for now, put some vision down and leave. Staggering their backs as well. Nice to see that.
Oh, so okay. It's just Mole, the one who's going to go for the recall, so he has the ability to follow into his ultimates. And
Weiwei does this fast enough.
90% kill participation coming in from Mole. Also 28.5% of damage. Actually pretty impressive for the fact he's on a Galio. And I mean, he has the Magi's.
Once again, all mid laners buy Magi's, right?
There you go. If you are a up-and-coming mid laner in another region, if there's one takeaway you have from the LPL,
Buy Magi's.
buy Magi's.
Because that shows, it's an intimidating factor, right? You're going to win the game.
It's a mind game, yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like, you know, mental warfare is 99.9% of League of
Take
Legends.
risks in life, like V5 did here.
Yeah, and we saw Bubu flash in aggressively. Sam D right there as well, flashing in for that forward shot, saying, we are going to kill this man. They get it done. Mabel trying to find a flank where he could pick off Sam D, but all the members of E5 were just right on top of each other, so it'd be really risky for him to actually distortion in.
I mean, Sam D has become humongous in this game as well, right? As take away the red buff. That was easily done. His crits are also quite humongous itself.
And let's remember that the only true tanky member for the side of LNG is XX.
Yeah.
Like anyone else, that 4-shot's going to hit like a truck.
Again, another nice reason to play Jhin as Sam D just hits
not
once
even
on the
4
Maple.
shots.
He walks forward into 4 people. He doesn't care.
That was just a normal auto.
And he presses W on Maple afterwards. Here comes Weiwei and PP God. Maple's walking blind into the Death Sentence, dodged away nicely.
The smoke screen came down first.
Yeah, that's true, as Bubu's might be called out, but the Hero's entrance into the mid lane. PB God starts the engage, the curtain call, trying to line them up. Hits XX in the end, while the Stormbringer out in the back line. The poke down, nails down Maple. Sam D's had a really good game too, as the Shielded Terran to follow up. And V5 have made LNG look so far beneath them here in this series. They might end it in a 2-0 as Iwandi ready to die. The fourth shot almost connects.
Is this really over?
In 30 minutes, they'll run it down mid with a double TP. And sir, this is over. V5 continue their reign of terror. 7 wins, and Top Esports are coming up next. Watch this game, because V5 mean business once more.
Well, Pisterix, I feel like V5 are heavy favorites. Look at this team. You know, it might be up against LNG, but it was really dominating too.